Hi guys, this is Teacher Pepe again, and in this video I'm going to explain the characteristics of the Fungi kingdom, the Monera kingdom, and the Protista kingdom. All of them in one video, okay? So let's start with kingdom number 3, which is Fungi kingdom. Fungi, you know that the most common example of the Fungi kingdom is a mushroom, like this one in the picture, a mushroom. So their bodies are normally made of a cap on top of the body, a stem here, and hyphae under the soil. Hyphae under the soil. They look like roots, but they are not roots because fungi are not plants. So they are not roots, they are hyphae. So as it is said here, most are multicellular organisms and consist of a cap, a stem here, and a hyphae, which is a long tubular structure. So long tubes under the soil. They look like roots, but they are not roots because fungi are not plants, so they are not roots. There are some other fungi that are unicellular. They only have one cell, and those are the yeast and the mold. You know the example, yeast and mold. How do fungi eat, or how do they do the nutrition? So they are not plants, so this is different from the plants. Plants make their own food, but fungi, they absorb the nutrients from the decaying matter that they break down. So when they find a decaying matter in the soil, they absorb the nutrients and they break them down. How do they reproduce? They reproduce using spores. And the examples, as I said before, the multicellular fungi, they are mushrooms, and the unicellular fungi, mold or yeast. You can see them here, mushrooms, mold, and every time you have some food that it is breaking down because it is rotten, está podrido o se está ya pasando, it is rotten, they are covered with mold. Mold is a unicellular fungus. And the other one is yeast, the one that you use when you want to make bread at home. You use yeast. Let's move now to the kingdom number 4, the Monera kingdom, and they are unicellular organisms. They only have one cell, so they are microscopic. You can't see them with your own eyes. You need a microscope to see all the Monera living things. So they are unicellular. They don't have bodies. They have only one cell, and their shape depends on the organism. Some Moneras are circle, some Moneras are square. It depends. So they have different shapes. And normally they are bacteria. So mostly all the bacteria are Monera, okay? They belong to the Monera kingdom. And some Monerans absorb nutrients from the decaying matter, like fungi, but others make their own food. They can vary from making their own food, like plants, or absorbing nutrients from decaying matter. And normally Monerans reproduce by dividing into cells. So one cell divides into 2 cells, okay? So some examples of Monerans are all of them bacteria. For example, the bacteria E. coli, la bacteria E. coli, que causa problemas de estómago, or some other bacteria like L. casei, la bacteria L. casei, que es una bacteria que se estaba en los yogures tipo Actimel, y también otra bacteria, por ejemplo, la que causa la enfermedad del tétanos. Todas esas bacterias pertenecen al reino Monera. They belong to the Monera kingdom. And finally, kingdom number 5 is the Protista kingdom. Aquí voy a empezar a hablaros una cosa en español porque el reino protista es un poco extraño. El reino protista es donde se mete a todo bicho viviente que no pertenezca a ninguno de los otros reinos. Si algo se encuentra que no es ni un animal, ni una planta, ni un hongo, ni una monera, entonces lo meten en el protista, sea lo que sea y como sea. Por eso pueden tener cualquier forma, pueden moverse o no moverse, pueden alimentarse de una manera o de otra. Ahora lo vais a ver que aquí en el protista pues puede haber un poco de todo, ¿vale? Vamos a verlo ahora mismo. Number 5, protista kingdom, and these are their characteristics. For example, their shapes. Some of them are unicellular, some of them are multicellular, so it depends on the organism. Movement. Some of them don't move, like protozoa. Here, this is a protozoa, is microscopic, is unicellular, and they don't move. Some others, like this one here, amoeba, this is an amoeba, and they move just a little bit with small feet, but they can move. So some are unicellular, some are multicellular, some of the protista kingdom living things move, some others don't move. The same happens with the nutrition. So some of them carry out the photosynthesis process and they make their own food, and some others just take nutrients from the surrounding area. Unos son como las plantas que se hacen su propia comida, otros se alimentan de los nutrientes que hay alrededor. And reproduction. They reproduce in two ways. También se diferencia, también hay varios tipos de reproducción dentro del reino protista. Reproduction, they reproduce in two ways. Some produce spores, some others, like algae, divide into two. ¿Vale? Hay algunos que se reproducen por esporas, otros, como las algas, se dividen en dos. Pero cuidado con las algas, porque hay dos tipos de algas. Hay algunas algas que son plantas, ¿vale?, que pertenecen al reino de las plantas. Otras algas que suelen ser algas microscópicas, que apenas se ven, lo que pasa es que sí que le pueden dar ese color verde al agua. Esas algas, parecidas a estas también que se están viendo aquí, sí que son del reino protista. Y ya, esto es todo, chicos. Lo último que había que saberse para el examen. Vamos a ponernos a estudiar ya y el miércoles demostramos todo lo que sabemos. Bye bye.